Well, we knew this news for a while, didn't we, that Alejandro Garnacho will be leaving Manchester United, but it has been confirmed by reliable source, the proper sources out there, Fabrizio Romano. He has today, or yesterday, confirmed that Alejandro Garnacho will leave Man United. This decision has been confirmed on the player and the club side. Quickly touching on the Garnacho thing, yes, he's a great player on his day. He's had many of good moments at Manchester United. The overhead kick against Everton, the brilliant goals he scored for the club. He's always a bundle of energy whenever he gets subbed onto the pitch towards the latter stages of a game. He always makes things happen. That's one thing I've always said about Garnacho is he can never have a bad game. That's wrong statement. Wrong statement. He can never have a quiet game, is what I was meant to say. He can have a bad game, but he's never just out of it. He's never not touching the ball. He's never not involved. He's always getting involved in the game. He's always trying to make things happen. That's one thing I've always said about Garnacho. But his time at Man United is coming to an end, and it was clear to see it was coming to an end after the Europa League final. When he did that interview, he sort of was fuming, obviously, that he didn't start in the Europa League final, having played most of the season leading up to it, so obviously he wasn't happy about that. But to be fair, I think he has got every right to be unhappy about that situation, because obviously Mason Mount came back from injury straight away. We know Amorim loves Mason Mount. He just threw him straight back in to the starting 11. So Garnacho, who's played most of the season, been available most of the season, had a right to be angry. But when he made it public, etc., it was never going to end well. He was always going to end up leaving the club. But the most interesting thing here is that Fabrizio Romano said this: staying in the Premier League is a serious option with 3 already keen. So 3 clubs in the Premier League are already keen. I'm trying to think of who those clubs are. Maybe Chelsea, because they were interested in him back in January when, Sejun was trying to sell Mainu. Garnacho was trying to free up a bit of money, selling our homegrown talent, which I'm still not over. That. I mean, I think that this sale is going to come back to buy us, by the way. I will just say that. Garnacho, like I said, on his day is a very, very good player. We're selling a young talent. We're selling a 20-year-old. We're selling a 21-year-old player. And he's still raw. He's still got so much to learn. He still could become an amazing player at Man United. And he probably is going to become an amazing player outside of Man United, wherever he ends up. I think maybe it is time to go for Garnacho. I don't think he suits the system enough as well. He is traditionally a winger, isn't he? And he doesn't really suit this Amorim system. And it's clear to see they haven't really got on since Amorim came to the club. But I know Garnacho's going to have a stellar career outside of Man United. I think it's nailed on to happen. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens there. So Chelsea are a club linked. I think another Premier League club is Aston Villa, I believe. Whether they can afford him, I don't know, with obviously PSR issues going on. I think he'll be good at Villa, but I really don't want to see him staying in the Premier League. It's mainly because I don't want it to come back to bite us. We play Aston Villa at Villa Park. Garnacho scores a double. We lose the game 2-1. I just don't want that to happen. I don't want that situation to ever occur. And I don't want to ever have to be in that situation, full stop. So I hope he goes abroad. We know these teams like Napoli, who we're linked to, I still think he'll go to. I still think it screams Napoli, that replacement for Kvaratskhelia, who went to PSG in January. So I think he's odds on to go to Napoli for me. You've got Atletico Madrid, I'm sure, will be interested. Obviously, Bayer Leverkusen are interested as well, which would be a mental storyline. I don't really get that. I don't think Garnacho should go to the Bundesliga. I think it's all a fantasy with that, with Erik ten Hag obviously being the Leverkusen manager. He's obviously interested in the player because he really likes Garnacho at Man United. He gave him his platform to perform in the first team, so I can see why he's interested in him. I just don't think he should go. I'm going to interrupt this video once again because we need to talk about Best ZV. We've got a little unbag in here. They've sent me another 2 shirts. But before we go through those shirts, as you can see, I'm currently on the website. I'm on the Premier League section of their website, and they've got all sorts, ranging from new kits, retro kits. I mean, they've got this United kit, the 7-8 goalkeeper shirt, which I'm definitely going to get my hands on. They've got the new United third here. I mean, it's a women's version, but that doesn't matter. The Arsenal ones, they've got everything you want. I mean, this is just the Premier League section as well, so you can take your pick. I mean, absolutely incredible. They've got a Blackpool shirt there. Any Blackpool fans, £14.50 for a Blackpool shirt. Be sure to check these guys out. Let me just go back to the homepage so you can see. As they've got a range of everything. Absolutely everything. Cheap football shirts for you football shirt lovers. So, let's open the 2 shirts they've sent me today. Now, these are Bundesliga themed today. We've got 2 Bundesliga shirts, both retro, starting off with this incredible Werder Bremen shirt. Now, you know I'm a big fan of Werder Bremen. I think this is from like 2004 as well. It's quite nice. It is quite nice. Green and orange, the Werder colours. Next up, we've got this incredible Schalke shirt. Oh, yeah. I like Schalke. I do like Schalke. I love that collar. I love the collar pattern there. You know what I mean? It's quite nice, that. It's quite nice. So if you want to get any of your shirts from this website, make sure you check them out. Link in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you for Best Said V for sending me these shirts. Let's get back to the video. To Bayer Leverkusen whatsoever. I don't think that's the right destination for him. I think it screams Napoli. Italians are slower league. I think he'll cook in Serie A. I think he'll be a very, very good player in Serie A. I think he can get double digits for goals and assists. When we saw it with McTominay, he's just had an absolute stellar season at Napoli. So obviously Napoli's in a good environment. They've just come off the back of winning the Scudetto. So Garnacho going there probably isn't the worst option for him at this point in his career. Now, I want to take you back to the Manchester derby in December, and I remember at the time Ruben Amorim's obviously only a few weeks into his job, and Garnacho and Rashford were left out of the squad, weren't they? They were left out of the squad back in December for that Manchester derby away at City, and there was question marks straight away on both of their futures. Obviously Rashford ended up going to Villa on loan in January. He ended up leaving the club to play football, to play first team football again, something that he'd been struggling to do obviously under Amorim. Since that situation, Amorim didn't let him back in any matchday squads. I think he was back in 1 matchday squad, and then just didn't use him at all since that situation. Whereas Garnacho, again, we don't really know what the situation was. We don't know what's that over there? The severity of the situation whatsoever. Obviously, it must have been bad to get rid of a player and send him on loan, and then Garnacho had to go through obstacles to stay at the club. But he did. He accepted it. They both got on in the end. He apologised to Amorim. Amorim let him back in his matchday squads. And then from there on out, since that situation happened, Garnacho was used a lot until the end of the season. Like, he was used pretty much every single game, whether it was starting. He was getting a lot more starts, but he was also getting used off the bench for half an hour. Like, he was utilising every single game. He was always available. He was always fit and ready. So obviously they overcame that little barrier. There was the little blip in January where he was linked with a move to Chelsea. I think his agent spoke to Chelsea, even went and watched the Chelsea game. But nothing really came of it, and he stayed at Man United till the end of the season, and then the situation boiled over again because he was left out of the starting 11 in the Europa League final, which again, it's an upsetting situation, but he didn't really do anything when he came on either, so it's one of them. It's one of them situations. But I think Garnacho will be fine. I think Serie A, it screams Serie A for me. I think he's going to go to the Serie A and do really well, whether it is at Napoli or another club. Obviously, it says Italian clubs are interested in him. It's just the money situation here. How much money can we really get for Garnacho? I think if he didn't kick up a fuss and do this interview at the end of the game, because now clubs know. For example, clubs now know Garnacho and Amorim and the club don't get on together. Garnacho doesn't get on with the club. He doesn't get on with Amorim, so that the price naturally comes down. It does. It naturally comes down. If we just said Garnacho's for sale, for example, without any of this becoming public to do with the situation with him and Amorim or him and the club, then you could probably get 60 million. That was the sort of figure that was looking at in January, wasn't it? But I think 40, 50. I think maximum 50 we're going to get for Garnacho now, which again, is talented. He should be worth a lot more than that. And I think he will be worth a lot more than that in the future. But 60 million in January was there. Again, we didn't want to lose him in January. I get that because we already lost Rashford and Anthony went on loan as well, so we didn't want to lose another wide player. But the 60 million there was probably worth taking now. But when you look back at it in hindsight, obviously I wouldn't have took it at the time, but I think we'll get 40, 45 for him now. I think we are. Again, it's pure profit because he has come from the academy, but we're probably losing out on a little bit of money with this Garnacho deal. Let me know your thoughts on the situation. Do you think Man United should have kept him? Do you think he's right to go? Obviously, I think he's right to go now because of the situation, but if he didn't kick up a fuss, would you like to have kept him? I don't know. I think it's probably time to go anyway. He didn't really do too much. Like I said, he always made stuff happen. He did his best, but again, doesn't suit the system. So for me, I think it's a guaranteed sale. I think it's all but confirmed to happen. I mean, Fabrizio Romano just tweeted it. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.